So Nyheim Hines, did we run this clip
fuck?
yet? Do we run Hines' clip yet? Okay, so people talk about being reckless. Like, hey, you want to play football? Those people are crazy. Those guys, you better watch out. Now, we have a little clip from Hines here. Just take a listen and watch this guy and tell me if you want to try to tackle this guy, do anything with this guy. He seems pretty savage.
Is there a certain level of, I'm just going to be direct, is there a certain level of crazy you have to have?
Yeah, before I go back there, I say I don't care about my life every time. Every time. Before the ball's kicked, I say
Stone
that.
face, too. Not laughing.
Yeah, I mean, it takes...
Not everybody is built to do that, right?
No, I say that it's something you have or you don't have. Like, I've been doing punt return my whole life. I haven't seen many guys just randomly start and continue it. It takes a special person to look up in the air, and have 11 people trying to rip your head off. And, there's people close to you. Sometimes I'll catch the ball with people close to me. And I think it's just a skill that it's a skill that you attribute, firstly just as a kid. And I think it's something you always have.
Yeah, so what do you think about that, Pat? I'd say that's a guy I want back there returning punts if I'm the head coach.
Yeah, Nyheim Hines is explosive. I got a chance to meet him this past offseason. Incredibly cool dude as well. Has been on the show and has crushed it. Remember, this dude did like a double back McTwisty thing after scoring a touchdown. He is a lightning rod for the Indianapolis Colts that have a stacked backfield and have found other ways to use him. I'm a big fan of his. Incredible returner. I like that he said it's 11 people coming down to tackle you, respect for the it is fucking 11 people, isn't it? Yeah, it is, Nyheim Hines. There's 11 people coming to get you, and hunt you down. I respect that. But it is a real thing, and I always very much enjoyed, we would get like rookie returners. Rookie returners would come in. For instance, Philip Dorsett was drafted in the first round by the Indianapolis Colts. After we already had T.Y. Hilton, we had Cribbs as our returner. Now, it was at the end of Cribbs' career, but he was still fucking Josh Cribbs. So we didn't really fully understand why the draft pick happened. He had just got done running a 4.2, won Adidas Island or something. I forget what it was. But he gets drafted to the team. They cut Josh Cribbs like the next day, and then they make an announcement that they can't wait to see him as a returner, and he's going to be used in a bunch of different ways. He did not return in college. Okay, so obviously me, Tom McMahon, and other people that are around special teams are like, we don't know if this dude's going to be a fucking returner. Like, it's just not just like, hey, that guy can catch a ball, that guy's fast, he can be a returner. There is so much that goes into it. And catching a punt is not necessarily the easiest thing as well whenever you have to wonder and worry about everything else going on. Nyheim Hines openly stating that he says, I don't give a fuck if I die right here is awesome to hear, but I would assume that other returners, the other great returners, have had to have similar thoughts because you are signing up with your head. My job as a punter was to get the returner's head like this, because as soon as the returner's head is like this, out of sight, out of mind, normally a fair catch is coming, right? And we had two returners that we had a good read on that anything that was above 4.6 or 4.7 was probably going to get muffed. So like that week going in, we literally thought, okay, all we give a fuck about is hitting this one high here. This ball is going to get muffed. Turned out it did happen. We got the ball back. It was only like a 36-yard punt, I think, or a 37-yard punt, but it had to hang like 4.8, 4.9. So it's just because we saw that his head would go up like this, he'd fair catch, but he'd still get a little scared. It's just something you either have or you don't. And I love that we have Nyheim Hines, and I love that he's a fucking maniac. But watching Phil Dorsett really try to do that, who I have a lot of respect for, his athleticism, he wasn't really able to do it. He wasn't able to, for whatever reason, it wasn't a natural transition to him. And when Nyheim Hines said he's never seen somebody like pick up the punt returner position later in life, so real. I used to love fucking with him, man. I would hit these balls that they would never see in the NFL because if you mishit it, it's going 10 yards. But I'd hit these fucking things straight up. They'd start nuking down on these dudes. It would sound like fucking bombs over Baghdad off their chest. Boom! It was awesome. Beat them up, ball would start screaming. And then Tom McMahon, like there was a couple guys. We had Quan Bray came in out of Auburn, one of my favorite dudes of all time. I tried fucking with him, and he was just catching with like one hand. It's like, okay, this dude's got it. Like this guy's got it. Pac-Man never called for a fair catch. That dude got it. Pac-Man would, Devin Hester, obviously.
Or Devin, yeah. And Cincy, I was in Cincy with Pac-Man for a year, and watching him, I loved when he was returning punts for us because you're right, he's not going to fair catch it. And he might catch it and take shots from 6 different dudes running full speed, and then he's going to get up and get in their face and get he definitely was never felt like he was taking the brunt of it. He was always giving it out, even if he had 9 guys hitting him, and he had to let him know, yeah, okay, good, I'll be here next time, and I'm going to take it to the house. He was fun to watch.
Because back in the day, and this is no offense because Devin Hester would transcend eras with how athletic he was. But back in the day and how incredible he was, Hall of Fame, I mean, everything, I have nothing but the utmost respect for Devin Hester. Changed the game, was awesome in video games, I've been told. So I'm a big fan. But back in the day, normally only like 3 teams had returners. It was like Hester, Cribbs, and then there might be one or the other. Then everybody started realizing, like, okay, if we can make our most explosive player, basically, also if they have the trait of like, hey, I can get killed here potentially and still be able to perform at a high level, it's become a weapon now. Everybody seems to have a guy that's like 4'2", 4'3" back there, and then you just got to find out mentally who can catch, who can guide, who can make the right decisions too, because there's a lot of the fair catch backed up. Do you go back? Do you fair catch? Do you let it hit? Do you block? There's like so much shit that goes into it, I think, and Nyheim Hines is a fucking great one. I love that.
Oh, he's awesome.